Hey guys, it's Laura Lemer, Style Unique, Mind Geek, Overall on Fleek, and welcome back to the as a Neopet series. In this series, I take well-known celebrities and make them into one of the Neopet species. Listen, I know you. I know why you're here. Well, I actually don't know you, but I definitely know why you're here. You're here to see some Jimin action. That's right. Today's celebrity that's going to be drawn today is none other than Jimin from BTS. For those of you that don't know, BTS is a quite popular K-pop group, which stands for Korean pop. This was actually a viewer's request, which I was very happy to receive. If you have any ideas or suggestions on who I could draw next as a Neopet for celebrities, let me know in the comments below. The specific Neopet I chose to represent Jimin is the Kairi. Now, Kairis are basically ferret/weasel Neopets. That's the animal that they closely represent. And while I don't think Jimin necessarily looks like a Kairi, I think Kairis are pretty malleable in terms of their appearance. I thought this would be a good combo to try to make Jimin look like a Kairi. Oh, as you can see, I had to adjust the head really quick because it was off place in the sketch. Now we're starting off with the base line art. I'm basically tracing my sketch digitally, and essentially I will go over the line art again later to kind of refine it. I will say this sketch was particularly tricky because I had to make a good combo between Jimin and the Kairi. I had to find a really nice happy medium. If you've seen the previous videos in this series, you know that I tend to go on the more anthropomorphic side when it comes to drawing these characters. As you can probably tell, this drawing is not the exception to that rule. However, it's really important that I get the face right in this one, at least in my opinion anyway, because Jimin's style constantly changes. Jimin is his own person, but at the end of the day, he is a boy band member. And typically speaking, boy band members tend to not be different enough where they clash with each other, but just a little bit different so that girls can have crushes on them for 5 years in their early tweens and teens and think they're going to get married to them only to find out that's not the case. I know I was one of them. With that being said, it makes it kind of difficult because with the face, I wanted to keep it cartoony yet accurate. So as you'll see, the eyes are a little bit wider than Jimin's actual eyes because I wanted to still maintain that cartoony style. I don't know if I necessarily pulled that off, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Well, look at here, we've corrected the line art and we picked out the colors, so now it's time to color in the drawing. I'm not gonna lie, I essentially winged it with this color scheme. I did stick with cooler colors when it came to the outfit, and I thought this would be a nice contrast with Jimin's yellowish blonde hair. As there were many colors to choose from as Jimin dyes his hair as much as he changes his outfits, I decided to go with the yellowish blonde with some color streaks in his hair, as it was represented in one of their recent music videos, Butter. By the way, that song is an absolute bop. As you can see, my coloring style is to scribble the colors in and erase the excess outside the lines. I know this is not typical, but it's just easier for me to do it this way. Whoops, colored on the wrong layer. While we're coloring this in, we can talk about the pose for a little bit. I specifically used a reference photo to draw this pose. When I saw it on Pinterest, I instantly fell in love because I really felt like it got Jimin's essence. I wanted Jimin to look cool, calm, and collected, the 3 C's that are essential to a boy band group. Not to mention, I'm really excited to draw a character sitting down versus just standing up. It's definitely a change of pace and I really enjoy it. I colored in all the base colors. So let's talk about the coloring job here. So for those of you that haven't seen my videos before, I basically color in the entire line art, just kind of scribble inside and outside the lines, erase the excess from the line art, anything that's going outside the lines, and clean it up from there. I know that seems really tedious, there's probably easier ways to do it, but that's just my style and I like it. It's like coloring in a coloring book with no inhibitions. I colored in all the base colors and cleaned them up. So now it's time for that final base color touch, specifically drawing in the streaks in Jimin's hair. As you can see, I'm putting in the blue streaks first. This was very much an experiment for me because I'm very used to just coloring in hair with one base color and shading it with corresponding colors. But overall, I think the streaks look really nice. Now let's touch on Jimin's hair really quick. I know this isn't an exact style that he wears his hair. However, I wanted to give a hybrid of his style with the Kyrie kind of mullet look that that creature has going on. Now we're gonna go ahead and add the pink streaks as well. I was gonna add lighter blonde streaks because I noticed he also has those in his hair, but I wasn't really liking the look, so I decided to scrap that. Next, I'm going to be making the shadows for this drawing. The process that I use to create shadows is essentially to create a new layer, set the layer to multiply, find a darker shadow color that corresponds with the color I want to shade, pick the soft airbrush, and then shade from there. This is how I throw some shade. Get it? Throw in shade, but not in the offensive way, because that's not cool. Okay, I'll stop. So for the shadows, the light source is coming from Jimin's right side, and I typically like to change up the light source where it's coming from to kind of challenge me and to challenge my shading skills. When I'm done shading, I adjusted the shadow layer to about 50% so the shadows aren't as harsh. From there, I repeated those steps for the other color layers. I used to color everything on the same layer, but now I separate certain objects and color them on separate layers. This makes it a lot easier for me to shade, and I essentially do the shading process I described earlier and repeat it on said layers. And as always, I try to make sure to not skip that 50% marking on the layer so that the shadows aren't as harsh. Now with the hair, I obviously shaded the blonde part, but we do have to shade the blue and pink with different colors. This is kind of a difficult process because you have to color in those colors, then shade them, then erase them, then color them again to make sure it aligns perfectly with the streak that you did. It is difficult, but a necessary step. One of the most useful tips I've learned from other creators online in particular is that you shouldn't shade everything with just the same color. So typically what some beginner artists will do is that they will shade with just black or gray. And while you can do that, it makes the picture essentially look kind of dull. So I do end up kind of adjusting the color wheel, finding a color that's close by but darker, and shading to give it a little more three-dimensional look. Of course, we have to shade in the jeans and all the other clothes. We're coming towards the end of the drawing, and now we're doing the highlights. These are going to be very subtle, and I zoomed in because we're starting with the eyes. We're doing the suit jacket next. This may have just been based on my own observation, but I noticed that Jimin likes to wear suit jackets a lot, so it was very important to make this suit jacket super shiny and classy. As I randomly turn the background white, we're going to highlight the hair some more as well. Finally, I'm picking the background color. I decided to go with pink for this. Have to pick the perfect pink. For this specific drawing, I just used the white line art this time versus just adding the stars. I felt like it was just a classier look, and it was just a little subtle touch to make him pop from the background. And we are done, folks. I did make some edits off camera, as you'll probably see in the final drawing. I was very tired when I was finishing up the last of this picture. Long story short, I pulled out my back, so my schedule for video editing got ruined. Not ruined, but it was definitely delayed, so I had to squeeze some stuff and do everything all at once. Nonetheless, I do like it. I don't know if it fully captures Jimin's essence, but I would love to know your feedback on it, so let me know in the comments below. What do you think of this drawing? One really quick note before we go, you may have noticed, if you're anything like me and noticed the little details of everything, that I did label this video as 6.1, and you might be wondering what's that all about. Well, you'll have to stay tuned and find out. Until next time, guys, take care, bye-bye!